Hey guys, it's Angel MERINO with ModaMob, and today I'm going to show you my go-to products and how to perfectly apply your foundation. So before I apply my foundation, one of the most important things for me is skincare and the way that I prep my skin. It's really crucial because it's really going to make the difference on how your makeup wears, the way that it looks, and the way that it feels. I have normal skin, so I always like to start off with this spray. This is called Fix Plus from MAC. And I just do a couple of spritz on my skin, just like that. I like to call it like my spa in a bottle. It's really refreshing, really hydrating. It's infused with tons of vitamins and minerals for your skin. So it's just gonna provide your skin the perfect hydration before you get started with your makeup. No matter what skin type you have, hydration is always gonna be key. You always wanna hydrate your skin. That's why I use my MAC Moisture Infusion Serum. I actually use it on a synthetic brush, just like this. I got this from a website called Morphe Brushes. I like to just do a couple of pumps on the brush and I apply it all over my skin. Now, brushes are gonna play a big part on your makeup and the products that you use. I'm using a synthetic brush because it doesn't have pores. Therefore, all of the product that I apply on the brush goes directly on my skin and on my face, and it's not soaking up any of it at all. I start from the center of my face and I work my way out. Really making sure that I really deposit all of that moisture serum all over my skin for really nice hydration. The best thing about it is it's really, really lightweight on the skin, so you barely feel it, but it intensely penetrates into your pores to give your skin the perfect hydration. Just like that. Once I got a nice layer all over my skin, I'm able to move on to my primer. My go-to primer right now is the NYX Angel Veil. I love it because it's oil-free and super lightweight on the skin. I use the same brush that I was using to apply my hydration serum. I do a little bit just like that. With this primer, a little bit goes a long way, so don't feel the need to oversaturate your brush with products. Again, like I did with my moisture serum, I start from the center of my face, just like this. It has a little bit of a silicone feel to it, so it really helps to smooth over all the imperfections, fills in any pores on your face so the makeup goes on really flawlessly. Now, you want to spend a generous amount of time prepping the skin for your makeup because that's what's going to make the difference with the way that your makeup looks and the way that your makeup feels. A lot of people just apply foundation and expect it to look amazing and flawless, and they don't take the time to prep their skin, and that's really what's going to make or break the makeup application for you. Taking the time to really hydrate the skin and especially priming the skin is going to be really key because that way the makeup goes on over the skin on a really nice, smooth, even surface, and it just allows it to go on seamlessly, beautifully, and it's going to wear all day long for you. Once you're all done, we can move on to foundation. Perfect. You'll be surprised to know that I actually mix 2 different products to achieve my perfect color and the perfect coverage that I'm looking for. The first product that I use is Face and Body from MAC. This is a foundation. It's really, really thin. It's majority made up of a liquid, so it goes on really, really light and smooth on the skin. Really perfect for somebody that doesn't want too much coverage and something a little bit more natural looking. And then I also use this. This is actually a concealer from MAC. This is Pro Longwear. It's a full coverage concealer and it kind of dries down to more of a matte finish. I like to blend the both and mix them to create the perfect shade for me and the perfect coverage that I'm looking for. I first start off by pumping out a couple of pumps of my Pro Longwear concealer. As you can see, the consistency of it is going to be a little bit thicker, so I like to kind of dilute it a little bit with my Face and Body foundation. I go on right on top of that with a couple of drops of my Face and Body foundation. Then I take my spatula, handy dandy spatula, and I mix it. And it creates the perfect color for me and the perfect finish. And with mixing it, you're really able to control the coverage that you want. If you want a heavier coverage, you can add a little bit more of the concealer. If you want a lighter coverage, you can add a little bit more of the Face and Body. But mix it to perfection and it's ready to go on the skin. Once that's done and it's all mixed, ready to go, I take my go-to brush, my synthetic brush from Morphe, the same brush that I used to apply the moisture serum and the primer. I can do that because those products were colorless and now we're gonna go in with a little bit of color. I'm gonna dip into my products. I like to start with a really small amount, starting again from the center of my face. I like to do a really sheer layer all over my skin first and then build it up as I see that I need. I'm gonna start off by just applying a little bit on the center of my skin, just like this. And again, brushes are gonna play a big factor in the way that you apply your foundation. Since this is a synthetic brush, it's not gonna absorb any product, and it's gonna allow me to really blend everything out really smooth and really evenly. I start from the center of my skin because I feel like that's where I need the most coverage, and towards the perimeter of my face, I like to really diffuse the product out. Now, if you can see the way that I'm moving my brush, I'm shifting my product away from the center of my face. I'm not just going back and forth in the same area, I'm literally moving the product away from the center of my face. And that's kind of what you want to do when you apply your foundation, because you really get it to move out evenly and you get the foundation to look really seamless and really flawless. Now, sometimes you got to really take your time with this and really warm up the product so that you can get the type of look that you want. I'm going to apply a little bit more, going out towards this way, just like that. Really, really moving it out and making sure that it's covering the way that I want it to cover. Now, once I start to blend out my foundation, if I start to notice that there's any strokes that I might have left behind, I like to kind of go in and stipple with my brush, just laying it on its side, stippling it to get rid of any type of brush stroke and any type of uneven texture, just like this. Another tip to help you apply a more flawless foundation application. Just like this, I'm just patting away, taking it under my eyes a little bit. It's gonna serve a little bit of coverage so that I'm not having to go back in with a heavy concealer. Just applying it all over my skin, just like that. A little bit on my nose, not too much. And again, on the other side, I'm gonna pick up a little bit more product. Now, the reason that you want to start off with this sheer layer is because you don't necessarily need a full coverage foundation all over your face when you're just trying to cover certain areas of your skin. So I like to do a sheer layer to kind of get my skin to one whole kind of color and feel and effect, and then I analyze my skin and see where I want to build more coverage, and I add that with a little bit of a concealer, just by stippling it on top of my foundation. I know a lot of people are used to doing concealer first. That's not necessarily what I like to do, because I feel if I apply my concealer first and then I go in with my foundation, I'm just moving around the concealer that I've already laid down. So I like to leave my concealer after I do my foundation, because I'm able to really stipple it and build it in the areas that I need to without affecting or compromising the integrity of the foundation that I've laid down. And again, I'm just stippling away any imperfections, any unevenness, any lines that I might have left behind. Just like that. Now, when it comes to the forehead, I'm really mindful and really strategic with my foundation application. I don't do too much. I just do a couple of little spots right in here and really diffuse it out towards my hairline. You don't ever want to see that the foundation stops right on the hairline. So you want to start away from your hairline and then push the foundation outward and really diffuse it out. The key is to really push the foundation outward so that it looks nice and blended and you can't see where it starts or where it stops. Just like that. Once you got it all blended out and it looks even to you, you're ready to move on to see if you need to build more coverage. So once you're done doing a full application, a sheer layer of your foundation, you can take a look in the mirror and kind of analyze what areas of your face might need a little bit more coverage. You can add a little bit more coverage by stippling on and layering a little bit more of the foundation, but doing it in a way that you work in small increments so that it's not getting too heavy on your skin and it's not too overwhelming. So if you look at my skin, I have a couple of blemishes right in this area here that I would like to cover a little bit more. So I'm gonna dip back into my foundation that I've mixed, very, very small amount, and I'm gonna stipple it and build it right in that area, just like so. I'm just pressing it really, really lightly and diffusing the edges out, just like that. Sometimes you can build the coverage that you want with your foundation alone. Just like so. I'm also gonna build a little bit right in this area here where I have a couple of more blemishes that I wanna conceal a little bit more. Really lightly, just stippling it over those areas, just like that. Now, you can also do this with a concealer, if that's more comfortable for you. But I feel comfortable doing it with what I've mixed already since I kind of am using a concealer. And a lot of the times the foundation that you use can build a lot of coverage. All you have to do is stipple it and layer it on. I feel pretty comfortable with the way that my foundation looks. So now I'm gonna move on to a little bit of concealer. I feel like I have a little bit of dark circles under my eyes, so I'm gonna use my favorite concealer. This is from Makeup Forever. This is the Full Cover Concealer. And I'm gonna use another synthetic brush from Morphe brushes. I'm just gonna pour a little bit out onto my Petri dish. Just a little tiny pea size. A little goes a long way again. And I'm gonna pick it up with a little bit of my brush, just barely at the tips. Now, when I apply it, I like to really buff it underneath my eyes so that it really conceals. I like to stipple it a little bit right underneath the eye, but really diffusing the edges of it. With concealer, you want to make sure that it's really seamless so that you can't tell where it starts or where it stops. It's meant to hide, not to stand out. Just like that. On the edges, I really like to buff it out so that you can't see where it stops. Just make it really, really seamless. Once I've evenly applied it, I like to go back in with my brush and stipple it just a little bit more to make sure that there's no uneven texture. If you're someone with a dry under eye area, try using an eye cream underneath your eyes before your foundation to make sure that that area is nice and hydrated so the concealer is just going on a lot more smoothly. And I feel pretty good about the way that it looks, so let's move on to powder. One of my biggest beauty tips is build all of your coverage from your foundation first. Whether you're using a liquid or you're using a cream, make sure you build it to where you're comfortable with the coverage that you're getting. Use your powder as an agent to specifically set the makeup. Don't use it as an agent to try to build more coverage. That's when the makeup tends to look a little bit heavier and a little bit cakier, and that's not the look we're going for. I'm gonna take this fluffy brush from Morphe. It's just a nice big dome-shaped fluffy brush, and I'm gonna dip into a little bit of this mineral powder from MAC. Really, really lightly. Now again, I'm not trying to build more coverage with this. All I'm trying to do is to set the makeup that I've already placed on my face. I'm gonna tap off the excess so that I'm not loading too much product onto my brush. I'm just gonna go ahead and press it onto my skin. Really, really lightly, really softly, just to set the makeup. Just like so. I love this product so much because it's a mineral powder, so the texture is a lot more silkier, a lot more creamier, a lot more finer, just really perfects the look of the skin. And if you notice, I'm not buffing it on my skin. I don't want to move around what I've already laid down. I'm just pressing it to make sure that I'm setting my foundation. Just like that. Perfect. Now, once all of those steps are done, the last thing that I do to really make sure that everything comes together, what's really gonna get me that home run, is my Fix Plus spray at the end. I spray it all over my face. I like to call it like my Photoshop in a bottle because when I spray it, it allows all of the products that I put on my skin to really melt together as one, just like this. Now, if you can tell, I used a really generous amount. That's just something that I like to do personally, and I like to just let it just really soak into my skin and dry down. Once it does that, it's gonna get rid of any powdery texture on the skin or any dry look onto the skin as well. And it just really makes your skin look flawless. I hope you guys were able to pick up some tips and some tricks on how to perfectly apply your foundation. For more beauty secrets, make sure you check out the rest of my beauty series. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.